We have been doing lesson over basic biological processes. Mm, Biological processes 1. We will continue that. Hope you can see my screen. Yeah. Okay. So yesterday we talked about breathing. Okay, that is our first process that we are studying. That is breathing. We saw why oxygen is necessary for producing energy from food. We saw what are the two processes, okay, how the respiratory process is divided into two parts, okay, the breathing process and the process of conversion of food to energy, okay. Then yesterday we saw how do we respire, how breathing takes place in human beings, okay, we saw that. Today we will see the process of carrying oxygen to blood by the air, okay. The process of carrying oxygen to the blood, how that is carried on. Just a moment, I think. Just hope you are able to hear me.
Ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay. Hello, Alita. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we know, ma'am.
Can I have your video on, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, welcome to the class. And do we also have Eva? Eva with us?
What, ma'am?
Is Eva there?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Eva. Good morning.
One second.
Good to see you. Okay. So I'll just give you a quick intro on what we have been doing. Okay. We have been doing the respiration process. Okay. Yesterday I started with respiration. Respiration is a basic biological process. There are a lot of processes that happen in our body. Okay. Major processes such as respiration, such as excretion, such as digestion. Okay, then we have circulation. Circulation means the transportation of various substances in the bloodstream. Okay, that is circulation, circulation of blood and all that. In this lesson, that is the biological processes one, we are going to study three processes. The first one is respiration. Then we have circulation, okay, that is the transportation of blood in the body. And the third one is excretion, okay. I started with respiration yesterday and we saw how the respiration process takes place, okay. First, we breathe in the air through the nostrils, then it goes through the windpipe, okay. Now, this air is rich in oxygen. This air that we breathe in is rich in oxygen. Okay, so we breathe in oxygen from the nostrils, then it goes through the windpipe known as trachea. Okay, windpipe known as trachea, and then it goes to the lungs. Okay, then it goes to the lungs. When it goes to the lungs, the size of the lungs expand. Okay, the size of the lungs expand when our lungs fill with air. Okay, so this expanding of the lungs, okay, and then beneath the lungs there is an organ right here. There is an organ right here known as diaphragm. Okay, known as diaphragm. Now, when the air goes inside and it fills the lungs and the lungs expand, okay, the outward movement of the diaphragm, sorry, the outward movement of the ribs takes place. See, the lungs expand. So the rib, now we know that the lungs are protected with a set of bones. Okay, that is the rib cage. Okay, the rib cage. Inside the rib cage is the lungs. So when the lungs fill with air, okay, they expand, and this rib cage also moves outward. And the diaphragm moves downward. Okay, there is downward movement of diaphragm. Okay, this process is known as inspiration or inhalation. Okay, inspiration or inhalation. And then when we release this gas out, this air out, okay, it has carbon dioxide. Okay, when the air that comes out of our lungs through our nostrils back out again, okay, it is rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so now what happens when this air is released? The lungs contract. When the lungs contract, there is upward movement of the diaphragm. Okay, upward movement of the diaphragm. Diaphragm returns to the normal position, that is the upward movement of diaphragm, and the inward movement of the ribs. Okay, the size of lung decreases and the pressure of air inside the lungs increases. Okay, now, so therefore, the air from the lungs come out. And when the air from the lungs come out, this is called expiration or exhalation. Expiration or exhalation, inspiration or inhalation. Okay, I was explaining. See, this is really simple. Okay, so there are mainly three parts. Okay, there are mainly three parts. Okay, number one is the lungs. Okay, number two, the rib cage. Number three, the diaphragm. Okay, the lungs, the rib cage, and the diaphragm. We are talking about two things. First, when we inhale. First, when we inhale. Okay, so when we inhale, what happens to the lungs? They expand. When we inhale the air is goes to the lungs, and due to that, the lungs fill with air and they expand. Okay, then what happens to the rib cage? Okay, there is the rib cage, it moves outwards, because the lungs are expanding. Now the lungs need more space inside the rib cage, So the rib cage moves outward. Okay, the rib cage moves outward. And this organ diaphragm, see this diaphragm is the opposite of lungs. Huh? If the lungs are expanding, the diaphragm will go downward. If the lungs are contracting, the diaphragm will move upward. Okay, so diaphragm, downward movement. You can write this down, all of you. Downward movement of diaphragm. Okay, downward movement of diaphragm. When we inhale, the lungs expand, rib cage moves outward, diaphragm goes down. Okay, diaphragm goes down. Then what about the second thing? That is when we exhale. When we exhale, exhalation or expiration. Okay. When we exhale, the lungs, what happens to the lungs? The lungs contract. As the air is pushed out of the lungs contract. Okay. The rib cage moves inwards or returns to the normal position. Normal position. And the diaphragm moves upwards. Okay. Normal, or you can write inward here. Okay. And the diaphragm moves upwards. So this is the like thing that you have to remember. Okay, this summarizes how breathing happens in human beings. Okay, just this much of thing summarizes how breathing happens in human beings. So when you inhale, when you are inhaling, your lungs expand, rib cage moves outward, and diaphragm moves downward. When you exhale, lungs contract, rib cage goes inward because lungs are contracting, rib cage goes inward, and the diaphragm upwards. Okay, so this is what happens when you respire. Okay, now this exercise 4.1 yesterday, I gave it as homework. Okay, now moving on to the process of carrying of oxygen to blood by the air. Okay, Alita and Eva, please turn on your videos. Yes, the process of carrying of oxygen to blood by the air. Have you ever seen a bunch of grapes? Okay, we have a bunch of grapes which are, attached together like a bundle. Okay, closely joined together in the form of a bundle. The way in which the grapes are attached to the branches. Okay, and also there are like branches between them. Okay, branches are there, very thin branches are there between the grapes. Okay, so in the same way, many alveoli are attached to the branches of bronchi in the lungs. Okay, these alveoli are round and are surrounded by blood vessels. The exchange of gases or gaseous exchange takes place inside the alveoli. Now, what is alveoli? What is this bronchi? See, this is a lung, and inside the lung, there is this structure known as alveoli. Okay, inside the lungs, there is a structure called the alveoli. Let me show you one more image, and then I will explain you how the gaseous exchange takes place. Okay, have a look. These are your lungs. Okay, these are the lungs. Inside the lungs, you can see that there are some branches, and to the branches, some ball-like things are attached. Okay, small bunch of things are attached. So these branches that you can see are blood vessels. Okay, look at this diagram. These branches, you can see the red and blue color veins. Okay, these are your blood vessels. Okay, and these ball-like structures, okay, these bunch are alveoli. Okay, these are alveoli. This ending of the alveoli, this portion, this portion is known as bronchiole. Okay, this portion is known as bronchiole. You can see this is the diagram. Okay, this is the diagram. This is how it is surrounded by a lot and lot of blood vessels. Okay, a lot of blood vessels are joined with it. Now, what is gaseous exchange exactly? Okay, what exactly is a gaseous exchange? Gaseous exchange is, you know, that when we respire, when we breathe, okay, we take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Okay, so that is what is gaseous exchange. Means oxygen is coming.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes. Any doubt you have? Anything that you want to ask? Okay. So this is what the gaseous exchange is. When I say the word gaseous exchange, that means that the oxygen is coming in the body and carbon dioxide is going out of the body. Okay, the oxygen is coming in the body and the carbon dioxide is going out of the body. Okay, that is what is gaseous exchange. Okay, let's see how this happens. Okay, these alveoli are round and are surrounded by blood vessels. The exchange of gases takes place inside these alveoli. The air entering the lungs contain more oxygen. When this air reaches the alveoli, the blood absorbs the molecules of oxygen and releases the carbon dioxide molecules, which it brings with itself. In this manner, the more carbon dioxide is present in the air is being breathed out. The blood takes oxygen from the lungs and returns it to the heart. The heart sends this blood to all the organs of the body to supply oxygen and food. Do you know that um, the oxygen is transported to all the parts of our body through the blood? Okay, the oxygen is transported to all the parts of the body through the blood. Okay, it's not just कि we breathe oxygen, not just for breathing, but for our cells also. For all the cells present in the body, they need oxygen to stay alive. Okay, all the cells in our body, they need oxygen to stay alive. Okay, and to so that the oxygen can reach to these cells. Okay, so that the oxygen can reach to these cells, it is transported by blood. It is transported by blood. How? How we will understand that with the help of a diagram. This diagram, I'm going to show this to you in English. We have in the book, all the diagrams are in Hindi. Okay. In this book, all the diagrams are in Hindi. So we'll go to the net and we'll check out this diagram in English. Okay. Just give me a minute. I'm going to explain this to you in a very simple manner. Okay. In a very simple manner. In this diagram, okay, you can see that the blood which is low in oxygen, the blood which is low in oxygen but high in carbon dioxide, okay, it enters from this side. It enters from this side, okay. The blood which is carrying carbon dioxide, okay. Now CO2 diffuses from blood to be exhaled, okay. Here, what happens? These are the red blood cells, okay, and the carbon dioxide, okay, it gets to the lungs, okay, gets to the lungs or taken by the alveoli, okay, taken by the alveoli. Now, this orange arrows that are coming are oxygen, O2, oxygen, okay. The blue arrows are carbon dioxide, CO2, okay. So, the blood is bringing to the lungs the CO2 from the body, okay. It is taken by the alveoli, okay. It is taken by the alveoli from the our blood cells, okay. Then, when the oxygen that we get from breathing in is absorbed by the alveoli, okay, it goes to the alveoli and then it gets mixed in the red blood cells, okay. It gets fused in the red blood cells, okay. These round things are red blood cells, RBC, okay. So what happens that the blood which is high in oxygen transports, okay, here it takes it to the heart and it is pumped to all of our body, okay. It is pumped to all of our body. Now, oxygen enters the alveoli, okay. From the alveoli it gets absorbed by the blood cells and then that blood cells are transported to all of our body, oxygen rich blood cells, okay. That is how oxygen is transported to our body. Now, what happens with carbon dioxide? All the carbon dioxide is carried out by the blood to the lungs, absorbed by the alveoli, and it goes out when we exhale. Okay, it comes out when we exhale. When we inhale, it is absorbed by oxygen is absorbed by the alveoli. Okay, from the alveoli, it is given to the red blood cells, and the red blood cells transport it to all of our body. Okay, that is how, very easy, that is how gaseous exchange takes place in alveoli. Okay, that is how gaseous exchange takes place in alveoli. Okay, now tell me, any doubt in the gaseous exchange? Did you understand or no?
I understand,
Anyone?
ma'am.
Okay. Anyone who wants me to explain again?
Ma'am, excuse me. I have a question.
Yes, Hannah.
Ma'am, the diagram that you have showed us, ma'am, would it come in the tests?
Will it come in the test? It depends, Hannah. Okay. Some diagrams are quite important. Okay, so see, this diagram is important. This diagram is very important. Okay, but this diagram, this diagram is a little bit less important, little bit less important. And also the gaseous exchange diagram is also moderately important, means not very important, but this diagram, it is like less important, okay. But the main respiratory system diagram is very important, the first diagram, okay. Usually that diagram is asked. Which diagrams are asked usually? The excretory system diagram, that diagram, respiratory system diagram, and the heart diagram also, okay. These are the important diagrams that are usually asked in the test, okay. Anything else? Any other doubt?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. Okay. All right then. Do you know what happens when the oxygen does not reach the cells? When the oxygen does not reach the cells in our body? Anybody has the answer what happens then to our body? A condition in which our limbs start to turn blue. A condition in which our limbs, okay, means our hands, our feet, and the lips, they turn blue color. Okay, bluish, purplish, bluish color. Okay, they start to turn blue and like bluish and purplish color. Okay, when the oxygen does not reach to our hands, you'll find that our palm, the feet, the arms, and the legs, they'll start to turn blue. When there is deficiency of oxygen, when oxygen is not reaching the body. Okay, so that's what happens. That is why the transportation of oxygen in the body is very important. Okay, that's very important that the oxygen is carried into the whole body. Transportation, for the transportation to take place, it is very essential. Okay, now the process of converting food to energy in the cells. Now see, now we know that we eat food, okay, and from the food we get energy. Okay, that is why our parents, they tell us to eat food, to eat all the green vegetables, to eat all the whatever vegetables are there, to eat the salad, to eat what we don't like eating. Okay, especially the green vegetables. So they tell us to eat that because from food we get energy. Okay, from food we are getting energy. So the food, after it gets digested, after digestion, it gets converted to a substance in the body that is called glucose. Okay. After the food is digested, it gets converted to glucose. And when it gets converted to glucose, this glucose reacts with oxygen present in our body and then it produces three things. Okay. I will show you a chart and see. First, we eat food. Okay. After eating food, it gets digested. Okay. When it gets digested, digestion takes place. After the digestion takes place, okay, it gives out a substance called glucose. Okay. Now, this glucose, it reacts with oxygen in our body, reacts with oxygen in our body, and gives out three substances. Okay. First is carbon dioxide, water, and the last one, energy. Okay. Glucose, when it reacts with oxygen, or food, when it reacts with oxygen in our body, gives out carbon dioxide, water, and energy. This is how we get energy from food. Okay, this is how we get energy from food. Now, the energy produced by respiration, it keeps our body warm. Okay, the energy that is produced in the respiration process keeps our body warm. With its help, our body is able to perform various functions. To learn that carbon dioxide and water are released during respiration, let us perform some experiments. Okay, an experiment is given. You can read this at home. Okay, give this a read. Give this a read. Okay. Do you know that respiration takes place? can take place even without oxygen. Respiration can take place even without oxygen. So that is true. Okay. There is a type of respiration that can take place without oxygen. This respiration is known as anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration. Okay. We will be meeting tomorrow, and tomorrow we will talk about anaerobic respiration. Okay. We'll be meeting tomorrow and we will be discussing anaerobic respiration. Okay. What we talked about today? Today we talked about inhalation and exhalation, how inhalation and exhalation takes place. Okay. Then we discussed the process of carrying oxygen to blood by the air, gaseous exchange. Okay. This process is known as gaseous exchange. Okay. We saw how gaseous exchange takes place. Okay. And then we saw how the food is converted to energy in our cells, in our body, how food is converted to energy. Okay. We will stop here for today. 5 minutes break for you. All of you, you can go and have water. Okay. Come back in 5 minutes and then we'll begin with the maths class. Yes, can I have your videos on, please? We are starting now. Please come back, all of you. We are going to start now.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Could you send the science and math PDF again?
yes, Eva. I will send you the science and maths PDFs. Okay.
Thank
Elita, to you also I'll send. Elita, are you back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Eva, video on, please. Okay. So I will tell you what we are doing. We are currently talking about something called as quadrilaterals. Okay. Something called as quadrilaterals. Now, when I say quadrilateral, it means it is a closed figure having four sides. Okay. It is a closed figure having four sides. Now, like a square in a rectangle? Yes, like a square in a rectangle. In fact, do you know that the square and the rectangle are types of quadrilaterals? Okay, the square and the rectangle are types of quadrilaterals. So when we are doing types of quadrilaterals, we'll do that. We'll also see what are the properties of different types of quadrilaterals. Okay, before that, before we get into that, we will see today what is the sum total of all the angles of a quadrilateral. Okay, sum of all the angles of a quadrilateral. Sum of all angles of quadrilateral. Okay, let us make a quadrilateral. Okay, let's see. This is our quadrilateral. You can't see the whiteboard. I'm doing it. How you can see the whiteboard. Hmm. You can try to rejoin, Elita. Rejoin once and see. Okay, rejoin. Yes. I will mark the sides and the angles. Okay, let's mark this thing. B, C. Okay, now angles. This is angle 1, angle 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, are you able to see Alita now? No, still not. Are is the rest of you able to see the whiteboard? Zoe, Hannah, Eva,
Ma'am, I can see.
you can see.
I can see it.
You can see it too. Okay. I do not know what the issue is.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Hannah.
Ma'am, I placed the file 6 in order, ma'am. Is that wrong or should the placement be exactly like?
The placement. Uh, okay. Do you mean the angles that I have marked here?
Yes, ma'am. The numbers, ma'am.
It's fine if it is not exactly like what I have made. Okay. It's fine. Or you can just correct, like when I am writing the calculation now, when I'm writing the verification, that time just make sure you do it in the right way. Okay. I'm opening the whiteboard again. Just a minute. Are you able to see now, Alita? No. Is it loading for you?
No, it's just black.
It's just black. I think it might be as well a network problem. If it's just black, that's showing. It might be a network problem. Does it say that it's loading?
No, it does not say it's loading. It's just like a black screen.
Okay.
I'll try joining from a different device.
Just a minute. Wait for a minute. Able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Huh? Let me just draw it again. Okay. Now we'll name it A, B, C, Okay. Angle 1, 2, 3, 4. You can keep marking. 5, 6. Okay. Now let's come on the verification. Okay. Now here AC is the diagonal. Okay. And when we were doing the triangles chapter, we learned that the sum of all the angles of a triangle is 180 degree. Okay. So angle, can you like see this part, this portion, this portion? Okay. It is a triangle. Okay. It is a triangle. So can I write angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is equals to 180 degree? Yeah, because it is a triangle. Then you all take a look at this part. This part. Okay. Again a triangle. Again a triangle. So I can write angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6 is also 180. Okay. Is also 180 degree. Okay. So if we sum it up, that is we add all the angles together. Okay. We add all the angles together. That is the first part, angle 1, 2, and 3, plus the second part, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. The first part and the second part. Now, the first part we know, angle 1, 2, and 3 is equal to 180. The second part also is 180. So, if we sum it up, angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6 is equals to 180 plus 180 plus 180 degree. Okay, which is equals to 360 degree. Therefore, therefore, the the sum of all the all angles of a quadrilateral is equal to 360. Okay, therefore, the sum of all angles of a quadrilateral is equal to 360 degree. Means that means that when we add up all the angles present in a quadrilateral, the total of it will be 360 degree. Okay. Now look at my diagram. If I remove the diagonal, okay, remove the numbers and just leave this much. Okay, four angles are there. So their total will be equal to 360 degree. Okay, their total will be equal to 360 degree. Understood? Any doubts till now?
No.
No? Okay. Please write this down. Make the diagram also. Then make this diagram, make the previous diagram.
Then, ma'am.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. Finish writing and then I'll give you one question based on this. Okay. Done writing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What about the later?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Just a minute. Let me open a new tab. The scale is got into the bottom actually. I cannot access that. Okay. I I'm going to open the whiteboard. Okay. I'm going to open the whiteboard here. So please let me know if you're able to see it or not. Okay. Okay. Never mind. Got the scale back. be giving you a question. Okay. I'm going to give you a question. If I'm not. You can make this figure. You can draw this figure with me. Okay. This angle is 50 degrees. This angle 120 degrees. This angle 130 degrees. This is x. Find the value of x. Okay. Find the value of x. The second B1, the second diagram that I'm making is for Eva. Okay. Eva can solve this, and the rest of you can solve it too. Okay, after doing the first one. Okay. So this is A, figure A. This is figure B. First, all of you have to try, Elita, Hannah, Zoe, have to try A part. Find the answer of A part and tell me. Eva, you can start doing the B part. Find the answer of B part and tell me. Once the rest of you are done with the A part, you can also try the B part. Okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
the angle out, right? The exterior angle, is it going to be 90?
Yes. The exterior angle is 90.
Okay.
Ma'am, should we